WWE 2K25 is finally out on the Nintendo Switch for the first time in a long time, and how does it hold up on the little handheld? Well, let's find out. So worth highlighting that this is technically the next-gen version of the game. If you remember that the previous gen version of the game and the new gen version of the game were separated by, like, the island, for example. The island wasn't available on the PS4 version of the game, but it is available on the PS5 version of the game. Famously, the PC version did not get the island, so the island is exclusive to next gen, but the Steam version is running like the old gen. Whatever, there's different versions of the game. It's important to note that the Switch does have the island available, so it is technically part of that little bubble. However, there is some caveats that we'll get into shortly. All the game modes available to you are, of course, the Exhibition, My Rise, Showcase, Island, Universe, My GM, and My Faction. So you are getting the full package here. You are getting the full game with a pretty major creation caveat that we're going to talk about shortly in the creation suite. But it seems like there are no compromises. You are getting the full Exhibition, you are getting the full My Rise, you are getting the full Showcase. Like, again with the island has about 2 or 3 chapters now. Like, you are getting the full package here. But you're probably wondering, how does the game play, right? So I haven't played a whole ton, I will admit. Probably not enough to give like a full unbiased review, but I will tell you my experience. This is like my opinion for what I've played so far. Don't quote me. I'm not a reviewer. I just want to give my opinion on WWE games. So again, looking through all of this, you do have the options of every single match type that's in the version, any other version of the game. You're not missing any match types. You are getting the full gamut of matches here. In terms of the roster as well, you are getting the full roster. Obviously, at this point, we have like 3 of the DLC packs available. There are still some still to come. So although there are still DLC, so even though there are still DLCs to come, you are still getting, like, if you buy the season pass anyway, you are still getting a really good deal of superstars. Although there are a lot of superstars still to unlock, even if you do have the season pass. For example, playing through the game, you'll unlock these tokens, these WWE tokens, and you'll be able to use these tokens to unlock these superstars, so you can target which ones you want. Again, if you have the season pass or the unlocker, then these will be unlocked for you. Not really an issue. But there are other characters, such as Nikki Cross, who is locked to the Wyatt 6-pack, which you can only get by buying the game within the launch window. So, although now that I think about it, I never actually got the Wyatt 6-pack. So I guess screw me for not pre-ordering the game. And of course, there are going to be characters like New Jack or Penta who are locked to DLC characters. There's going to be characters like Miley here that are locked to My Rise. So yeah, there are a lot of characters. Even though you may have the season pass, you may have everything unlocked, there will still be a lot of characters locked behind either My Faction, My Rise, Showcase, or whatever else it may be. Right, enough talking. You want to know how the game plays? Let's jump into a match and see how the game plays on Switch 2. So this is the WrestleMania XL Arena. This is the Undertaker's entrance. And yeah, I am playing on a Switch 2. I don't know if this will pick it up, but yeah, that is a Switch 2. I'm not lying to you, I promise. Yeah, it looks fantastic. Like, genuinely, graphically, I think this game holds up really, really well compared to the other versions. Like, primarily I've been playing on PlayStation 5. For the YouTube channel, I've been playing on Steam a lot. And obviously the Steam version runs like ridiculously well. The game is pretty well optimized for PC these days, and it runs at 4K, and it's got modding ability and stuff like that. So the PC version, great. PS5 version, also great. I bought the Bloodline edition for the PS5, so theoretically I have everything for the PS5 version of the game because I've got the season pass and a whole bunch of extra goodies that came with it. And I will say, I do not agree with the monetization that 2K has been doing for the game. I don't agree with the Bloodline edition. I don't agree with all the little extras that they throw in there. I just thought I was excited for this game and I bought the Bloodline edition with my own money. I wasn't given it. I'm not that big, don't worry about it. But yeah, I took a risk on the Bloodline edition for PS5, and I can explicitly say I didn't think it was worth it. I still don't think it was worth it. So for the Switch version, I have just gone for the standard edition, and the standard edition is a full price game. It is like £60 odd. And to be fair, you are getting essentially the full package, minus one major creation suite change that we're going to talk about shortly. Some of the fog effects are looking a little choppy, a little pixelated. Maybe that's a bug, maybe that's just part of the optimization to make it run on Switch 2, I'm not really sure. But something to bear in mind, I guess maybe some of the visual effects are toned down on the Switch. So I think obviously the first thing that you probably will need to get used to is the fact that the controls are slightly different, right? If you've been playing on any other platform, the controls are a little bit different in regards to the button placement. So for example, the top button, which normally would be like Y, right? Y to reverse. On the Switch, it's actually the X button. So it can be a little bit confusing in that regard. Other than that though, I actually feel like the Switch is a relatively easy kind of transition to get to. Other than the button placements, I don't see anything else that's like going to cause a major issue in terms of like compatibility, like mental compatibility of trying to get used to the buttons. Obviously here I'm playing docked with the controller adapter here, so this is just the standard controller adapter that you get when you buy a Switch. It does support Pro controllers or any other kind of third-party USB controller that you may have, so you do have the option to plug in a more traditional controller as opposed to this kind of adapter with the Joycons. Something that you may have noticed is that the game does run at a very silky smooth 60 frames a second, and credit to them, like I haven't seen any major drops in frame rate, but one thing to bear in mind is that the camera cuts, you know, when you're doing like big moves or pinfalls or whatever else that you may have, if you have it set up for taunts as well. If you have it set up for taunts as well, then the frame rate does get halved. So the camera cuts for big moves, taunts, and finishers and all that, they are at half frame rate, and it is noticeable. It is noticeable. So I have also ran multi-man matches. We'll run a multi-man match later, and I haven't noticed any like crazy. I've just gone for the same move again. I'm just spamming the same move, but at least you can see the frame rate, right? You can see that that move triggers a camera cut and how jank that can be. But I mean, like, you have the commentators at ringside, you have obviously the arena, the full arena, you have weapons and physics interaction, you've got blood as well. Graphically, the game looks great. So, like, it's a good package. Like, there really isn't, like, even though it's full price and it is a little bit annoying having to pay full price, you know, you're getting a good package here, and especially since the Switch owners are now getting the game, you know, a couple months into release as well. So you already have, if you buy the season pass, that is, you already have a lot of that DLC content available to you, as well as system updates that, you know, introduce things like Saturday Night's Main Event or some of the other kind of cool stuff like the weapons and stuff that have appeared over time. Here I'm going to go for a choke slam. You see it's in 30 frames and then it cuts back to 60 frames once the move has been landed here. I'm going to go for a tombstone pile driver on Bron. He ain't going to see it coming. He's down. I've got a fatigue finisher, so I'm tired. I don't think there's much else to talk about in terms of matches. I think that the background elements are a little bit blurry. Like, obviously they've got that depth of field blur on the crowd there, but it's a little bit low quality, so it does look a little bit choppy in some regards. We're going for a pinfall here. Bron kicks out of 2 tombstones. Who does he think he is? See if I was gonna say, let's see if I can actually hit the comeback here with the Undertaker. I don't know the button placements very well, so we'll see what I can do. Although before we do that, we're gonna do an apron suplex, back suplex on apparently the hardest part of the ring. Never mind the fact that there are literal metal beams on the sides of the ring, but whatever. Alright, so this is the comeback move. No, it isn't. There we are. This is the comeback move. I hope I get the right buttons. I don't know what the buttons are. Okay, I got X. Oh, I didn't get B right. B's on the bottom. I pressed the wrong B. Alright, Bron wants to use the table, so how about we put him through the table with our finisher. I don't know what the buttons are. There we are. That's the finisher right there. Tombstone pile driver through the announce table. Holy sugar. That's gotta be it. Count to 10. He's done. He's stunned. This is awesome. The crowd chanting. This is awesome. So yeah, if you like what you see, this is essentially what it's like on the Switch. I mean, it is literally just WWE 2K25 on the Switch, and I don't really have anything else to say about that, really. There are definitely some caveats that we're going to get into shortly, but in terms of gameplay, other than the button placements, it's very confusing on this little thing because they labeled all the buttons differently. Yeah, no, this is a great way to play 2K25. It's also worth noting that the Switch has a very unique feature with these little Joy-Cons. They actually act as two separate controllers, so when you take the controller out, you'll see that you actually have buttons on the inside. And that allows you to play the controller like that, which means inherently you have two-player out of the box, because it means the second player takes this controller and they play it like this, and then the other player takes the controller like this, and then you have two controllers. Isn't that crazy? If you're wondering if 2K supports that, it does. It genuinely does. What it does is it adjusts the controller to then support the 3D camera movement. If you've ever used the 3D camera movement in 2K25, you know that there are certain actions where you have to hold a trigger to do certain things. So for example, if you're controlling the third-person camera with the right stick, obviously then you can't pick up the characters or pin them with that thing. So there's a modifier button, which is the left shoulder. It's the exact same when you're playing two-player like this. You just have to hold down the left bumper and use the thumbstick, and it will just automatically do the grapple that you're trying to do. If you do want to set up two-player on Switch in that kind of way, you just have to go to controllers, change grip order, and then you unhook these controllers. Once you unhook the controller, you press on the two top buttons there, and it should appear in your list. And then once you have that controller set up, you then go to your second controller and you do that, and then it should appear as controller 2, and you can do that up to 4 players. So inherently, you know, if you have a Switch 1 as well, your Switch 1 controllers work on your Switch 2. So even if you have a Switch 1 and a Switch 2, which I would probably bet a lot of people do, then you've inherently got 4-player co-op right there, ready to go. And this is not a bad way to play the game either. Like, the controls, as confusing as they are normally, are even more confusing this way because you have to hold another button to do certain actions. But with that aside, it's certainly not a bad way of playing the game, especially when you got friends over, if you're having like a Mario Party night and you're like, screw it, let's get a couple games of WWE, let's get a Royal Rumble on the go. This will perfectly do in having a multiplayer party game situation. So I don't think I need to go into detail about what my faction is, Universe My Rise is. I've already covered all that on the channel when the game was coming out. I did do an initial preview talking about my faction, Universe My Rise and all that, so I don't think we need to talk about that too much. Saying that though, Creation Suite maybe does need a bit of talking about. So I don't think I can actually get online right now. The online doesn't seem to be working. But one important thing to note for community creations for the Switch 2 is that it doesn't support custom images. As a result, it means that all the Create Superstars that have like custom face textures, custom logos, anything like that that uses custom textures, custom images uploaded for the web service will not work on Switch 2. There is no option to upload custom images to the Switch 2. And as a result, it means that the custom creation or the community creations tab on the Switch 2 is completely separate from everything else. There is no shared community creations on the Switch 2. So like if you upload something on PS4 or PS5, you will not be seeing it on the Switch. The Switch is its completely separate own community creations. And honestly, I think that kills it. I think that kills it. Like Dead in the Water, Dead in Arrival is just done. And it sounds really silly because obviously for the longest time, only recently have they started supporting custom images. For the longest time, characters were just made in-game using the assets that were in-game, and that really breeds creativity, don't get me wrong. But nowadays, I think that the bar for some of those custom creations are so high. Like, people can create like realistic looking characters in 2K just through custom images. Like, they look like real characters that have been added to the game. And if the Switch doesn't support that, I think that's a massive shame, because it means that you're paying full price for the game and not getting necessarily all the caveats, all the features and benefits that all the other versions have. Well, community creations aside, we can't have a look at the online mode because the online mode isn't working for me just now, but I have heard that apparently it is just a normal online version. Like, it does run fairly well. It runs as well as the console versions, which is to say, you get disconnected all the time, but when you get a good match, it does work. Like, you know, it's an online mode for a 2K game and it works. don't really have anything to say. One really interesting feature that the Switch 2 has over everything else, and this is an exclusive Switch 2 feature, is that you can use a feature called Game Share. Game Share allows you to share the game with a friend on another Switch without them ever owning the game. Literally all you do on the main menu here is you click the start button on one of your gamepads and Joy-Cons, sorry, and you have the option here to either share the game with your friends in game chat, or you can select the nearby Switch. And basically what that means is that you're essentially like displaying your Switch capture, like you're outputting the display of your Switch to their Switch via Wi-Fi or whatever network you're using. And they're seeing like a video version of your Switch, but they're controlling the second controller port. So they are able to play with you remotely on that Switch through your internet connection, which is insane. I know Steam has like a version of that of some kind, and PS5 obviously has also kind of their game share thing, but this is a lot more convenient and actually built into the game. Game share, literally you just click the button, you choose who you're sharing with, the menu will come up, whether, you know, if anyone's within range, they'll be able to hop in with you, and yeah, it'll just output the video from your Switch. And yeah, that's cool as hell. I think it's such an easy way of having multiplayer locally on the device without the need of like too much faff. If you for some reason don't have 4 Joy-Cons, or you want to use the 2 Joy-Cons as the full controller, then this would be a way around it. And from what I've heard from other game share cases with like Mario Kart World and all the rest of it, there is a slight hit in image quality, but for the most part it is playable and there is minimal delay, so it seems to work. I'm a loser, I don't have any friends, but yeah, if you give it a go, let me know down below what you think. So let's throw on a Royal Rumble here. Of course, this is on the Nintendo Switch 2, as mentioned before, as the whole point of the video. But yeah, this is a Royal Rumble, and immediately, if you're seeing what I'm seeing, I don't know if it'll pick up in the capture, but the game certainly looks like it has dropped frame rate a little bit. I don't know if it's running at 45 or 30, I don't have that kind of capture ability, but it definitely looks like the game's running at a lower frame rate. Maybe it was just that initial burst, that initial load, and now it's running at 60, but it definitely looked like it was dropping frames at the start of the match. So the reason I've gone for a Royal Rumble here is because obviously the Royal Rumble should end up with about 8 people in the ring, so we'll be able to test the compatibility of having 8 people in the ring at any given time, as well as the data loading, right? So the data streaming and loading of superstars in between the entrances. I'm noticing on Sol Ruka's hair there's a little bit of pixelation, a little bit of blurriness, a little bit of noise. I don't know if that's maybe related to the fact that it's maybe running at a slightly lower resolution, or maybe the fact that it lowers some of the settings so that the game can run feasibly in the device. Oh, I should mention as well, I have actually played a few matches on handheld mode as well. Handheld mode, I have this really nice grip, right? So this bad boy, it has little like controller grips on the back here, so you can actually like hold on to it. Yeah. Handheld mode is perfectly playable. I never noticed any frame problems. It still has the half frame rate on camera cuts, so when you're taunting, finishers, major moves, anything like that, it will still half the frame rate, which is really unfortunate, but it's not overly noticeable, I don't think, and for the sake of being able to play it on handheld, I think it is actually a great it's a great experience. It is honestly a great experience. I have played 2K on my my Steam Deck, sorry, before. I actually took it on a plane to Germany for my best friend's wedding, and on the flight to Germany, like I just played like a whole bunch of random matches, like Money in the Bank, Royal Rumbles, and all this of it. And the Switch and the Steam Deck relatively held up pretty well. Like it didn't have too many problems. So the Switch 2 doesn't surprise me, the fact that it can play this game, because if the Steam Deck can run it, then surely the Switch 2 can run it. In terms of glitches as well, like I've had a pretty good run so far. Like it doesn't seem like there are too many glitches. Like it seems okay. Like yeah, you still have like your occasional body glitching out or something unaligned or something weird, but for the most part, like the game hasn't crashed on me. I haven't noticed anything too crazy, but admittedly I haven't really gone into depth of some of the game modes. Like I haven't I haven't spent any extensive time in the island. I haven't spent any extensive time on universe mode or anything like that. GM mode is also available, so you know that's a pretty intense kind of CPU based mode where it takes a lot of like computational power to run, because it's not graphically intensive, but there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes working away. But here you're seeing the Switch is holding up relatively well with all of these people in the ring. Again, frame rate issues aside, not even frame rate issues, it's a choice that they've made. It's a setting in the PC version that you can half the frame rate on the action camera, and that's a choice that they've made for this version for some reason. I would rather they had the 60 frames, because I'd rather that it was consistent throughout, so it's either 60 frames or 30. Admittedly, I would rather the game run at 60 the whole time. If the action camera needs to run at 30, then I don't know, maybe like remove it or something. I don't know. I guess you do have the option of turning off. This is standby mode, so when the screen will go dark when you're not doing anything, but if you touch the controller it will turn back on. I guess you could probably adjust that in the settings, because I quite like watching the AI wrestle, you know, AI doing its thing. But I mean, my overall thoughts here are that it's a good version, it's a good port of WWE 2K25. It has all the main features, it has like the island, it has all the game modes in terms of My Faction and Showcase and My Rise, and all of that's there. The community creations obviously is a really big part of the community. It's a big part of the longevity of the game, especially being able to add new characters to your roster. But it's maybe not a deal breaker to some people. I would probably argue that it might be. But I mean, you are still able to create characters. We're going to be covering 2K15 on the channel pretty soon, and we're going to be talking about some of the creative changes that they made in that game, to the point where you can't even make women, you can't even make divas, you can't even make women characters. And I think for this version of the Switch, at least you have all that functionality. So although you know we love to complain, we want to complain about all the missing features, but I really think we should celebrate the win here. Like, the game is running so well on Switch 2, and compared to the previous version, the 2K18 running on the Switch 1, this is just a godsend. I'm definitely noticing that the hair has been, like, the hair quality is reduced for these multi-man matches. I don't know, I'm not technically focused enough to know, like, why. There must be a reason for the hair rendering to be lower quality than the rest of the game, but I'm assuming that's just, again, a creative choice to make the game run smoother on Switch, because I was noticing it earlier on Carmella, or I don't know who I was noticing it on, but somebody had hair and I was noticing it was quite low quality. I'm noticing it now on Charlie Dempsey. I'm noticing it not as much on Nia Jax though, so I guess it just depends on character to character. If your character has short hair, you're probably not going to notice it. Like, I can't see it on The Miz or anything, but maybe those characters that have some of that hair physics involved, I'm seeing some of it there. But again, I think this is a great example. Like, you've got 8 characters in the ring with all this, you know, hair physics and simulation. The ropes are moving. You've got camera cuts. You've got all the AI integration all working, and there is obviously commentary, but I've turned it off for this match. And you're in the large arena. This is the large arena with the massive crowd and all the lights. Like, I know I'm speaking like a normie here, but like graphically and like computationally, the game is running really, really well. I don't have anything, there is nothing bad to say here. And even some of the compromises here, like, you know, I'm running this on a 4K monitor, and I can definitely tell the game's running, it's not running at 4K, like it is a little blurry. And I can definitely see, like in BFAB's hair, the hair rendering is definitely lowered for whatever reason in the settings. But like, again, these are not deal breakers for me. Like, the main draw is to take WWE 2K25 on the go. If I'm on a long bus ride, if I'm going on a train or a plane or whatever, and I just want to play some wrestling, I'm not going to notice any of these things. I'm not going to notice any of those graphical hiccups. I'm not going to notice any of this when I'm playing handheld, when I'm playing the Royal Rumble and train, because that's the draw here. The draw is you want to be able to take the game on the go and play any match you want or any mode you want, and that's exactly what this is. This is exactly what the Switch is about. Taking your home games maybe turning down the settings a little bit so that it runs optimized, and then being able to play it anywhere you go. So it's hard to tell because sometimes the capture on my monitor does drop frames, but it doesn't drop frames in the recording. So I'm having like a half frame rate moment here, but it doesn't look like it is on the other monitor. So I'm curious to see if what's dropping frames here. Is it my monitor or is it the recording? Because the recording looks fine, but I'm seeing choppiness here, but then that is kind of just what OBS does. We have entrant number 18 here, Bubba Ray Dudley. Let's focus on the match from here on. Of course, Bubba Ray Dudley, one half of the Dudley Boys team. I was gonna say Team Extreme, but that's not right. Team 3D. Gunther with AJ Styles on the corner there, but AJ able to reverse. Able to get some offense in here. I don't know what he's going for. Some saying, oh, that kind of pump handle gut wrencher. That's pretty sick. I didn't even notice that Ethan Page got eliminated as well. Don't know how that managed to happen. Oro Mensah thrown over the top rope unceremoniously by Bubba Ray Dudley. Bubba, of course, one of the coaches on LFG, and he just told Oro Mensah to get TF out. Number 19, one half of Pretty Deadly. Which one is it though? It's that one. I don't know which one that is. Is that Elton Prince? I'm gonna go with Elton Prince. Let's see what the nameplate says. That is Elton Prince. Awesome. Oh, and AJ Styles eliminating Bray Wyatt. That's unfortunate. Oh, and Gunther paying respect to Bray Wyatt with the giant shotgun drop kick there to AJ Styles. And then focusing his efforts on Bubba Ray Dudley. But AJ says, nah, I ain't done yet. Entering number 20, one half of the Street Profits. Which one is it? Angelo Dawkins entering the fray here. Going straight for Gunther as well. Gunther at this stage in the game, he's pretty tired. In the corner there, Elton Prince eliminating Tony D'Angelo. Tony being in there for the longest time as well. I don't know who's been in there the longest now. It probably has been Gunther, but Gunther up in the air and slammed down by Bubba Ray Dudley with that intense power bomb from the Dudley. Entrant number 21, Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan in real life injured currently, but she will be back shortly, hopefully, as Liv hits the ropes and goes for that Hurricane Rana and completely whiffs it because everyone else was in a move. AJ Styles and Liv Morgan, probably not a match you were expecting to see any point. Oh, Gunther taking Bubba Ray out with that huge standing clothesline. Liv going for a bulldog, but AJ able to get out of it. Gunther giving Bubba Ray a powerbomb of his own. That is, of course, his technically his finisher. Gunther doesn't really have a finisher per se. But that is enough to eliminate Bubba Ray Dudley as the other half of Pretty Deadly enters the fray. I have completely forgotten his name though. Elton Prince and screw it, I'm gonna look at the screen. Kit Wilson, that's the one. Kit Wilson though going straight for Gunther. Oh, and being taken out by AJ Styles as well. Be interesting to see if Pretty Deadly do form an alliance here. I mean, the game does have a mechanic in place where factions and tag teams don't attack each other unless absolutely necessary, or if they accidentally hit each other. So as long as they don't hit each other, they should actually form a team. As Julius Creed enters the fray here, Julius entering the Royal Rumble without his brother. This could be his chance to shine. If he wins this Royal Rumble, then that proves that he's better than his brother, right? That's how family works. One half of the Usos, Jimmy Uso, Big Jim entering the Royal Rumble here. The switch to Royal Rumble. He enters at a solid 60 frames. And you know who leaves at a solid 60 frames? That's Angelo Dawkins, eliminated with a Hurricane Rana by AJ Styles. Kit Wilson now at the receiving end of a Gunther elimination, hopefully. Well, not hopefully, but he is unfortunate. Oh, and Liv Morgan joining the double team here. That does eliminate Kit Wilson, so that means that Pretty Deadly have now been disbanded in the Royal Rumble here. Elton Prince on his own and being beat up by Big Jim. Julius Creed going for an overhead belly to or back to belly to back suplex there overhead. That was sick as hell. Eddie Thorpe entering at 25 here. Eddie Thorpe sadly being released from WWE, I believe. I don't think he's actually with the company anymore, but he is still in the game. So even with the Switch 2 release, they still kept in all the people that have been released, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, you wouldn't want to remove those people considering that there needs to be some parity between the two games. as in the 2 different versions of the game, or 3 different versions technically. Entrant number 26, we have Rey Mysterio. Liv going for Oblivion, almost getting herself eliminated in the Royal Rumble here. Rey Mysterio joining the fray here. He's got a good number though, number 26. That's a very good number, although the chances of surviving the Rumble drastically reduce when you go against Gunther, the ring general, who has been in there the longest, 100% now. Eddie Thorpe, oh, he hasn't been eliminated. I thought Rey was going to get him out there, but no, Julius Creed precariously on the apron. Gigi Dolan next at 27. Gigi Dolan, I think, also released. I'm not sure if I'm remembering that correctly. Eddie Thorpe has been eliminated by Elton Prince, who rightfully celebrates the win there. Julius Creed lowering the straps as well. I've not seen that in a while. I didn't know that he could do that, but yeah, he's lowered the straps on his singlet, which means that he's ready for business here. He's looking to eliminate Elton Prince. Oh, Elton reversing, so not able to get out of the ring just yet. Elton wants to win this for Kit, who got eliminated earlier on. Something's telling me that Gigi Dolan isn't in WWE anymore. Maybe I'm wrong. Entrant number 28, Alba Fire, who is still in WWE, but not under that name. Elton Prince, unable to hold on to the ropes anymore. The damage has been done, and unfortunately has now been eliminated from the Royal Rumble by the ring general, Gunther. Yes, Alba Fire is still in WWE, although is she under Alba Fire anymore? I can't remember, but she's part of the Secret Harvest, and now she's part of the Showers. She's been eliminated already, so she is gonzo. On the flip side here, Gunther looking very spent. I have to imagine that the next time Gunther goes over the ropes will be his time, but he just needs to avoid those ropes at any possible chance he can. He's very smart there. Going under the rope means that you can't be eliminated over the ropes, so it's best to regain your strength at the bottom underneath the ropes. Entrant number 29, Tommaso Ciampa, former NXT champion, former tag team champion as well. Coming in at this late in the game, one half of DIY, this is a very good chance for him to win here. Although again, the chances of winning drastically reduce when you go face to face with the ring general Gunther, as Rey Mysterio eliminates Julius Creed on the side of the ring there. Our cameras just caught that. Big Jim, oh, number 30 is none other than Asuka, Japanese legend herself, entering at number 30. We have an interesting mix of men and women here in this Royal Rumble. One good thing about oh, and Asuka's been eliminated by Liv Morgan. Holy that was wild. What an elimination. She just came in and was instantly thrown out. That was wild. Well, as I was saying, we have a good mix of men and women in here, but not anymore, not with Asuka being eliminated. Gigi Dolan, of course, going against Gunther here. Oh, and a Poison Rana taking Gunther out by Gigi Dolan. Liv Morgan's been there for quite a while. I think she just hit a version of the Oblivion there on Gigi, as Tommaso Ciampa goes for that pedigree facebuster. I don't know what that's called, but the set of facebuster there, I think that's one of his signature moves. Liv wisely rolling for the ropes, so trying to get her away, or trying to stay away from elimination. At this point though, this is the final batch of entrants. Number 30 was Asuka, and there are no more entrants at this point. So Big Jim eliminated by Gunther. Big Jim not able to hold on. The match takes its toll, and it gets to a point where you just can't hold on anymore. And that's what we saw there with Jimmy Uso, who has now been eliminated and is heading for the Showers. Liv Morgan on the top rope there has been eliminated by Gunther. Gunther has had one hell of a run in this Rumble, by the way. He is, for the later half of this Rumble, he's been just absolutely dominating the Rumble. And I mean, that is probably no surprise to those who know the ring general. Of course, he is has been the former World Heavyweight Champion. There's some crazy stat that 80% of his time in WWE he's had a title or some stupid thing like that. He was undefeated for his first couple years in WWE, which was insane. And even now, he's essentially the final boss on Raw. Anytime that you want somebody to prove their worth, they go against Gunther on Raw. We are down now to the final four: Gunther, Ciampa, Rey Mysterio, and Gigi Dolan. What an interesting eclectic mix of people to be in the final four of this Royal Rumble. Oh no, Gunther's in oh, he was in no man's land there for a split second, but he was able to hold on. I don't know how he was able to hold on, considering the lengths he's been to in this match. Rey Mysterio going for a 619, but unfortunately, because there are other people in the ring, he wasn't able to actually hit it. GG Dolan setting Rey Mysterio up against the ropes. This could be an elimination here for Rey. Oh, he's not looking good at all. He's on the middle. Oh, he holds on to the bottom rope though, but GG has one last chance to eliminate him. Rey has gone over the top rope, and unfortunately not enough. Rey holds on. Now, Tommaso Ciampa over the top rope. He's gone. Again, something about Gunther just not able to hold on. I think he just deals that amount of damage. Talking of damage, he just absolutely kicked GG Dolan's face off with that big boot. He's now dragging GG into the corner where he eliminated Liv Morgan earlier on. Oh no. Does this count? He went through the ropes. I don't know if this counts or not, but he's lifting GG on the top rope here. I can already see the effects. He's going for a super finisher. Top rope powerbomb, taking GG Dolan out. I mean, I don't think Gigi's going to be able to go over the top rope. She's going to need a doctor to take her out of this Royal Rumble. And to no one's surprise, Rey Mysterio throws Gigi out with no effort whatsoever. And we are down to our final two, Rey Mysterio and the Ring General Gunther. Gunther, of course, eliminating so many people in this Rumble with relative ease, and he's been in there for the longest time. I don't know when he entered, but he must have been there about 15 or so. And we now have Rey Mysterio going for a Canadian Destroyer, maybe. No, Gunther reversing the move there. That could be the opening that Gunther needs, although he did hit a super finisher on GG Dolan, which means that he probably doesn't have. Oh, and Rey gets Gunther over, but Gunther blocks the reversal attempt. Even at this stage in the game, that is so impressive. Although Rey in the same position, unable to reverse, which means Gunther gets the win. Gunther wins the Royal Rumble, and Gunther wins and proves that the Nintendo Switch 2 is a perfectly reasonable way to play WWE 2K25. So that's my opinion of 2K25 on the Switch 2. It's certainly just another version of 2K25, which is a perfectly good game. I think it runs relatively well on the Switch. You've seen firsthand here that you get all the game modes with relatively normal settings. The only real things to complain about are nitpicks, such as the 30 frames action camera, and I guess not so much a nitpick, but the community creations probably should be hopefully for the next version, 2K26 on Switch, hopefully they can include custom images, because that's not good whatsoever. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please comment down below if you have any other features that I've missed for Switch 2. If you did enjoy the video, please consider liking and subscribing as well. It all helps the algorithm, feeds the beast as it were. But that's going to be us for today. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.